Hi, everyone, at St. James Lutheran. I want to get us thinking about an issue that is having a huge impact on us spiritually: technology. For a long time, technology has been designed for mass consumption, but with the advent of smartphones in 2007, the effect of it reached a new level. Things really got amped up when you could carry the internet around in your pocket. Now, personally, I was a late adopter. My kids called me something of a dinosaur. I didn't get my first smartphone until 2015, but boy, I really felt the pull of it then. We've all been in restaurants where a family is sitting with everyone looking at their devices. It's like they've been taken over by a B-grade sci-fi movie. And did you see the documentary a couple years back, Social Dilemma? You need to see this documentary. Tech companies are intentionally fighting for your attention, like very intentionally. Social media, video games, and other forms of entertainment were made to keep you clicking, playing, or watching for as long as possible. And here's the thing: they're intentional. If we approach technology unintentionally, the tech companies' intentions will take over. Actually, they are taking over. See, because when we absent-mindedly open an app and start scrolling, that app is actually thought through. It's designed. Psychology is brought to bear to keep us scrolling for as long as possible. They have figured out what's going to make us do that. I read where the CEO of a popular streaming service said that since we've utilized all our waking hours, his company is now competing with sleep for our time. This is done through the design of features like autoplay, which eliminates your need to choose to keep watching. You understand that? It just keeps putting you on to the next thing. Unless you make a conscious choice to stop, your binge will just continue endlessly. It's so our minds will constantly keep sucking stuff up. It's like the Vulcan mind meld, except rather than Spock's hand, if you know Star Trek, the original, rather than Spock's hand, it's your phone that's just mind melding with you. An absent-minded approach to technology, it not only leads to time wasting, which is bad, but to far darker things as well. Like what? Like unintentional exposure to pornography. Seemingly harmless social media and streaming sites are a major trigger for many people, like for way more people than you realize. And it's not merely an unfortunate accident. It's no accident. Porn websites intentionally take advantage of our absent-minded browsing to lure us and our families into their spaces. You say, well, you know, is it really so bad? Oh, it's not just bad, it's a catastrophe. When people grow up glued to their screens, their brains become wired around that experience, optimized for pleasure, for the quick fix. Brain scans now reveal that screens are affecting us physically. You say, physically? How so? By actually altering the wiring of our neurons. Neurons, that's brain cells, are fired up by dopamine, which acts in your brain like a pleasure-giving hormone, literally form physical trails from being repeatedly stimulated together. What fires together, neurons, wires together into these trails through our mind. And what is created are neurological paths and patterns similar to those of drug and alcohol addicts. Yeah. With a similar alteration of their brain pathways, masses of people, kids and adults, are being addicted to technology and also to pornography. Technology has the power to reshape our minds. I'm ringing out warning. I'm ringing out danger here. You're hearing about this right now, not from a tech expert, but from me, a pastor who's quite a bit of reading about this. Now, I'm committed to helping people in matters of spiritual formation. But what we're seeing today through the constant use or misuse of technology is spiritual deformation. If you've been paying attention to this summer's sermon series, then you'll understand that the threat facing God's people now is not unlike the threat they faced in the days of Elijah. But more about that on Sunday. For now, just know that I would not be sending around a video like this if I wasn't convinced that what's coming at us is dangerously deforming. Technology is designed to consume our hearts. It targets children, shaping their brains. It occupies our commutes. It distracts us from sleeping at night. It's always at hand, flashing and beeping to remind us to give it our attention. We're left with a choice. Do we unintentionally allow technology to consume us, or do we intentionally immerse ourselves in something else? Something else? Yeah, we could be immersed in something else. Deuteronomy 6:6-9 says, "These words that I, God, am giving you today are to be in your heart. Repeat them to your children. Talk about them when you sit in your house and when you walk along the road and when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them be a symbol on your forehead. Write them on your doorposts of your house and on your city gates." The concept here is of immersion in God's truth. Now that is going to sound odd in our culture because you know what I want to know? I want to know, have you personally experienced how, not just dabbling, but immersion into God's truth literally transforms your mind? It literally transforms your mind. You go from a dark, downward, deforming spiral to a light-filled, upward, freed in goodness experience of ongoing spiritual formation. I want to make it possible for everyone in our church to experience this renewal. This coming weekend, I'll be talking about spiritual formation and spiritual deformation at the time of Elijah and making connections with today. I think someone in your family ought to hear this message. In August, I'm going to be telling you about an effective way for you to meditate and be immersed in God's Word. I'm excited about this, but we'll hear about it in August, the details. It's like having a monastery experience without leaving home. Look for this in the next few weeks. Looking forward to September. Plans are being put in place to help parents guide their families to health and freedom instead of being dragged downstream with the culture toward the falls. We have some very, very good materials from a group called Access that we're going to share with you this September. Between now and then, just take notice and be thinking about moving you and your family out of spiritual deformation and positioning yourselves to receive grace-filled spiritual formation. And I hope to see you this weekend at church. God bless you.